Most of the land is run by farmers. We must realise that our biodiversity is part of our farm functioning system. We can't really produce our products in the long run without recognising the value of it.
So we've just caught a pink-tailed worm lizard on a farm in Maringo. Some people do think it looks like a snake. I think it looks more like a worm. And it likes to live under small rocks that sit on the soil surface.
So there are many important natural assets on farms. Large old trees, paddock trees, and rocky outcrops are among the really important natural assets on farms. Why these areas are important is that soon there are going to be stewardship payments and certification schemes to reward farmers for good practices that lead to good biodiversity outcomes.
Having rocks in areas, it can prevent erosion. It can also kind of trap water in areas so it's more moist and there's more vegetation that grows.
You don't get this boom and bust that you get in very simple landscapes.
Although it's not illegal, it can be cleared for routine agricultural activities. There's something called the reefinator. It can go through paddocks and it can crush and destroy rock at a rate of 1 hectare per hour. And there's no checks, there's no management, there's no offsets required for just clearing big swaths of rock habitat. And it's rapidly disappearing.
The approach of removing species we don't like is committing yourself to fighting against the processes that are clearly going on. I mean, we're up here on top of a rocky hill. I grew up being told you could never run cattle up here because they'd overgrazed it with sheep for 100 years, but we run lactating cows up here, for instance.
We've worked with landowners for more than 2 decades. And rocky outcrops stand out as places that are straightforward to manage, but also fundamentally important for animals, particularly reptiles and rare plants. So what we're doing is restoring rocky outcrops and rocky habitats by putting rocks back out in grazed paddocks.
So currently we have 10 sites that are located in the Cowra region of New South Wales.
So have you put rocks in this plot as well?
Yeah. And now we go back there every spring and summer and we survey what's there.
What have we got here?
So about 3 months after we put the rocks and fences out, we found pink-tailed worm lizards within our plots. We also had other species that we hadn't recorded in those areas before, like lots of rainbow skinks, olive delmers, eastern striped skinks, and many other reptiles, as well as frogs in our rock plots, which was really good to see. 10 centimetres. So we're kind of trying to see if there's any gene flow with pink-tailed worm lizards between those areas, and if they're travelling between or if they're just staying in that one rocky area. We're kind of finding that there's not a lot of genetic distinctiveness between them, but they're not really moving between populations either. They like more open areas, so this has implications for kind of restoration activities that we do on farms. Instead of just planting big swaths of vegetation, which we love to do and spend millions of dollars on each year, we could potentially put rocks from urban developments back into these areas.
If we want to have markets for our agricultural products, we're going to need to demonstrate more and more frequently that those products have been produced in an ecologically sustainable way. And rocky outcrops can be a straightforward way to boost biodiversity on farms.
So the thing about conservation is its outcome is health. And in the long term, health is much cheaper, much healthier for products coming off that land, and much better for the other species in the landscape. And then let alone the beauty of having a natural system.